Good. All right. We're going to just give it another minute and then we're going to go ahead and officially get started. Suli from Juneau, Alaska. Louise from Alberta, Canada. Wow, I love it. Thank you all for being here. Wonderful. Blessings to you too, Lordeal. I hope I'm saying that right. You're welcome, Crystal Blue. Wonderful. All right, so welcome everybody. My name is Joan D'Argo and I am the founder of the Spiritual Wildfire Academy, a global online resource created for anyone who is ready to shine their light, for anyone who is ready to ignite the worldwide spiritual wildfire that we need now. So as people are still joining us, I want to guide us on a really short grounding meditation, okay? Just to make sure that I'm grounded and to help us all come into the present moment, okay? Really short, really easy, okay? So just take some nice breaths in and out. Take a nice breath all the way down to your belly, all the way into your pelvis. As you inhale, let your belly expand. And as you exhale, let it float gently back toward your spine. Beautiful. Just keep breathing and imagining, sensing that with every breath, you're bringing back all of your energy into you, into its rightful home. And as you inhale, as you take these deep grounding breaths, know that you are breathing in the breath of the trees. Know that you are breathing in the gifts from the plants in the oceans. So take some nice breath and breathe that energy in and let it flow into all of your cells. Welcome these gifts from the plants, from the oceans, from the trees. Inhaling and exhaling. Breathing that vital life force energy in and let it fill you up. And now as you exhale, go ahead and send your blessings and gratitude to the trees, to the plants and the oceans. For without their gifts, we couldn't breathe, right? So just breathing in and breathing out, sending your blessings to the trees, to the plants and the oceans. Take another nice breath, bring it all the way down to your feet and all the way down to your fingertips. Feeling enlivened by the trees, by the plants and the oceans. So again, I want to welcome all of you. I am so glad that you are here. Go ahead and bring your awareness fully back. I am so happy and excited that you are here. And I want to share with you 3 intentions that I have for this webinar, okay? So my first intention is to share with you why now, perhaps more than ever, is the time for each one of us to really boldly shine our lights, to really let our lights really expand, to have that faith in our light, to really let it shine, okay? So that's the first intention. The second intention is I want to share with you tools, grounding, centering tools that have really helped me stay really grounded and centered, especially when it sometimes can feel like, you know, there's so much chaos all around us, right? Whether it's personal or collective. So these tools have really helped me stay very grounded and very centered. And then the last thing that I want to share with you, my last intention, is to share with you a way for you to dive more deeply with me into these topics. If you are called, if these topics resonate with you, to really dive deeply. I'm looking for a core group of people who want to take these topics and really live them, to really understand what it means to live in our lights. All right? So let's begin. And if you have any questions along the way, please go ahead and put them into the chat. And there's an option there where you can press all panelists. So that'd be great for all of us to see. And I'm hoping that we have enough time. If there are any really specific questions, I'd love to get you online here and ask them. So, okay, let's go ahead and begin. So if you attended the Spiritual Wildfire Summit or have been part of my tribe for a while, there is a core part of you that knows that you are a visionary. You know that in your bones. You can feel that in your bones. You also know that there is a huge shift occurring in the world right now, and that your gifts are really needed to help shepherd in this new world that us visionaries, we know is possible. You may not know what your gifts are or how to use them, but you know that you have them and you are ready to open them. So being a visionary during a global dark night is not an easy thing to do, but us visionaries, we are so needed right now. We see possibilities where others don't. We are the ones that have the ability, the vision to really see the big picture. We may wear glasses, but we have 20/20 vision where we can really, really see the big picture. For example, here we are in the reality that we're in right now. Us visionaries, we know the challenges that we are faced with. We know the reality of what's going on in the world right now. We're aware of that. We're awake. But on the other hand, we also see the possibilities. We know what is possible if we really stepped into the fullest expression of who we are, of our light. So we can see both of those simultaneously. And because we believe so much in the power of our light, of the light that is needed, it's really important that as visionaries that we don't burn out, right? And so I want to share with you two qualities that are so supported to us as visionaries, okay? Qualities that we can really rely upon to really help us. Okay, so one of those qualities is resilience, and one of those qualities is courage. So first I want to share with you a little bit about resilience, okay? So we know that we live in a time where things are shifting dramatically, right? It feels to me like we are being stretched in ways that we never believed possible, and even being asked to step into the unknown. And for us humans, stepping into the unknown is a really scary thing for us to do. I know it has been for me. And that is because all of us, we have been programmed to really fear the unknown. And that programming is 100 million years old, believe it or not. And it's the programming that lives in our reptilian brain, way back here. I also call it the critter brain. So anytime that we are even contemplating doing something different or stepping out of our safe zone, our critter brain is, as if we're getting ready to step into the unknown, our critter brain is going, warning, 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 don't go there, impending doom, danger ahead, right? It's programmed to keep us safe, right? So here's an example. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. So let's say that there's a woman, her name is Harriet, let's say, and she's a woman who, she's been at this job for 15 years, and it's a job that just sucks the life out of her. Every time she gets up in the morning, she's like, oh, I don't want to go to that job. It just lowers my vibration. But she's a very intelligent, she's a really creative woman too. And during her downtime, she's been taking classes. She's been taking classes in the healing arts because that's what really makes her come alive, right? So she's been taking these classes, and she even got to the point where she's ready. She's at part-time at this life-sucking job. But now what's happening is she's hearing this small whisper inside of her, and it's saying, Harriet, you are ready. You are ready now to make this leap and to step into what's really going to help you come alive, right? She's ready to step into this leap. And so what does she do? Does she do it or not? Well, she asks herself this: am I stuck in my critter brain for no good reason? And when she drops down out of her head and more into her heart and even into her low belly, she hears this voice that says, Harriet, you are ready. You are ready to take the leap. And instead of listening to the fear that's generated in this critter brain that has been programmed to keep us safe, but now this fear is being projected as false evidence appearing real, she took that leap. And she is now full-time in a job that just lights her soul on fire, and she's making tons of money doing it too. So I share this story because in order to create the changes we know that will bring us joy, taking risks and stepping into the unknown is one of the very best things that we can do for ourselves. And at this stage of our collective evolution, if we don't step into the unknown, we're staying stuck exactly where we are right now. And we know that we need to move forward. Adele, I love that you're sharing that. You're saying that you're telling my story. I just quit my job because I am hearing the calling and cannot work at the soul-sucking job. Risks are scary, but I know I'm taking the right step. Congratulations, Adele. And know that every time that any one of us steps into our joy, steps into what really makes us come alive, that we have this whole support system, whether it's visible and invisible, that is really there to support us. So well done, Adele. So instead of feeling scary, stepping into the unknown can be really exciting if we have nurtured our internal resilience. And when I think of resilience, I think of this. I think of a really simple formula for it. And it's a formula that works for building both internal and global resilience. And it goes like this: strength plus flexibility equals resilience, right? And so as you think of this formula, I want you to imagine a tree, okay? And imagine any tree. Maybe it's a big old weeping willow tree, or maybe it's a mighty old oak, or maybe it's this beautiful palm tree. Whatever tree comes to your awareness. Now look at that tree. Look at how it stands in its strength. Look how firmly rooted and grounded it is. And I want you to imagine, though, I want you to see that there's this big old ferocious storm that's moving in the direct path of this tree, right? Winds are blowing at 100, 150 miles per hour. But I want you to see how this tree stands in its strength. See those roots really grounded. See how they've spread out. And I want you to also see how that tree can move and bend and sway. That's the flexibility. Without that flexibility, that tree could just topple over in those winds. It could just be crushed. It could crack. So it's the combination of the strength plus the flexibility that really creates the resilience that is needed to move forward and really step into the unknown. All right, so I'm going to guide you. A great way to really experience resilience is to actually experience it yourself, okay? And what I want to share with you is one of my very most favorite tools. And it's a tool that has literally changed my life. It's a tool that's helped me really come into my own alignment. And when I am in alignment with myself, there is no confusion by others around me about who I am. They know who I am and how I'm showing up. Okay, so this tool, it's actually called vertical alignment. Okay, and it's a good way to describe it is by its opposite. Its opposite is called horizontal alignment. And when you think of horizontal alignment, what comes to mind for me is, remember if you went to a carnival and you went into one of those fun houses and you stepped in front of one of those mirrors, and one of those mirrors that really, it just contorted and distorted your whole image. So, you can feel like you're being pulled this way, or your image was distorted that way. And that's often what it can feel like in life, right? We're being pulled in this direction by family. We're being pulled, excuse me, in this direction by friends or by our job, right? And before we know it, we've lost all sense of who we are. We've lost our own center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to guide you right now on one of my very most favorite tools, okay? So go ahead and just take some nice breaths in and out. Inhaling and exhaling. And as you breathe in and out, again, let your breath be slow, deep, smooth, and most of all, gentle. Let your breath roll in like a wave and let it roll out just like that wave. Easy, gentle. Take a breath all the way down into your belly. And as you're breathing in and out, I want you to imagine your very favorite place on earth, someplace in nature. Imagine, sense, feel as if you are there right now. So you're breathing in the essence of this place. You're hearing the sounds. You're breathing in the aromas. Take a nice breath all the way down to the soles of your feet and imagine, sense, feel as if there are roots coming right out from the soles of your feet. And they go really deep down into this place that is so nourishing, so nurturing for you. Let those roots go down. Let them spread out. Feel yourself supported by the earth. Now, as your roots get anchored, bring your awareness to the base of your spine, to your tailbone. And I'm going to invite you to drop what's called a grounding cord. And you can make this grounding cord out of whatever you want to make it. You can imagine an energetic tree trunk, beautiful fabric. I had one client make it out of a peacock feather. So use your imagination. But let this grounding cord be at least as wide as your hips. And let it too go deep down into the earth. Deeper and deeper and deeper. Just let it drop in. Take a nice breath. I think of my grounding cord as a lightning rod on a barn sometimes. So when there's lightning and chaos all around me, that grounding cord, it just grounds it out so that I don't have to absorb that energy, right? So take some nice breaths and let any worries, even if it's just for right now, just let those worries release. Beautiful, good. So now finally, the last stage of vertical alignment is bring your awareness to the top of your head. And I want you to imagine, I invite you to imagine a beautiful star. You can sense it, see it, feel it, just know it. You don't have to literally see it in your mind. Just know it, right? There's a beautiful star right above your head. You can imagine it as your own personal North Star. It's a beautiful guiding light, and it's with you 24/7, always with you. So go ahead and rise up. Let your crown meet that light from above, and let that light just flow in, down, around you, through you. Let it surround you. All the way down. Let it fill up every cell in your body. Let this light be at least as wide as your shoulders. And as it flows in, let yourself lean back into this light. It has your back, and it always does. Just take a nice breath and notice what it feels like to be supported from above and from below. And let that energy from below, that grounding, centering energy, let it flow in just the right amount for you. And let the energy from above flow in just the right amount for you. Take a nice breath in and out. Notice the difference. This is what is called vertical alignment, being sourced from above and being sourced from below. Whenever you're ready, you can come fully back, if you haven't already. One of the advantages of really moving into your vertical alignment on a daily basis is that when we source from above and from below, we are inviting in fresh energy from two of the most powerful sources available to us. We invite that energy to flow and we open up to receive it above and below. And when we do that, we stop recycling our own energy. And often that energy is our own wounded ego energy. And that can just be continuously recycled. So when we open up, we get this fresh burst of energy that can really support us. Good. I hope that was helpful for you. I'd love to hear any comments from many of you, how it felt moving into vertical alignment. Wonderful. All right, so the other thing that I want to share with you, I'm going to take a sip. Another really important quality, another really important tool that can be very helpful to visionaries is courage. Good. I'm glad, Jocelyn. I'm glad that feels wonderful. Yeah, I love crystal blue. I love having the wide grounding cord too. I feel it really, really supportive to me. I totally agree with you, right? So the other thing I want to share with you is courage. Another important characteristic for all visionaries. And I think of courage as the ability to embody the full spectrum of our light and to express all of the gifts that come with doing that. And really embodying the full spectrum of our light is something that is not easy for all of us to do, right? I mean, many of us, we have been conditioned to really dim our light, to really turn it down. Now, I know that that is shifting and changing right now. I see it in children. Children are much more ready to really open up and express their light, right? And that has a lot to do with how parents are really cultivating that light within their children. But for many of us, we have been conditioned to keep our dial turned on the low setting, right? So if we had a dial from 0 to 100, and 100, if we dial it open to 100, that would be the fullest expression of our light, right? But many of us, we keep our dial down to about 20, 30, maybe we open it up to 50, and maybe on those rare occasions when we're feeling really good, we really let the fullest expression of our light come out. But as I said earlier, our light, it contains all of our gifts. It contains all of our joys. Our light is like our greatest superpower, right? And when we are ready to courageously really open up to the fullest expression of our light, our life changes in dramatic ways. We have more joy in our lives. We are able to fully express our gifts because within our light contains all of our gifts, right? But again, we have been conditioned to really dial it down. But now, more than any other time in the world, is a time to really open up and to let those gifts be truly expressed through our light. So how to do this? I mean, there's many tools that I can share with you about how we can do all this, but how we can do this. But one of the tools that I want to share with you right now is one called the power of asking what if. Okay, it's a really simple tool. It's really powerful. And if practiced, it can really dramatically change your life. The power of asking what if. The kinds of what if that I'm talking about are not those worst case scenario what ifs. You know those what ifs where you're like, okay, I'm going to get on a plane, and I know that if I get on that plane, it's going to be struck by lightning, and it's going to come crashing down, and I know I'm going to die. No, that's not the kind of what if that I'm talking about. The kind of what if question that I'm talking about has the power to completely recalibrate your energy. It has the power to really open you up to possibilities that your critter brain, that reptilian brain, would say, no way, that is not possible. You are not going there, right? Okay, so the power of asking what if really opens us up to an infinite possibilities. The other thing that a power of asking what if does, it prevents us from stereotyping ourselves. It prevents us from keeping ourselves small. So I'm gonna invite you to use this power of asking what if, and it goes like this. I'm gonna give you some examples of what a what if question would look like. So before we do that, I want you to bring your hand to your thymus, right into the center of your chest. And take some nice breaths in and out. And I call this point right here, right in the center of our chest, I call it the energy reset button. And it's a way to completely, again, recalibrate your energy. It's also a great way to raise your vibration and to really wake yourself up. So as I ask these what if questions, I'm going to invite you, you can either continue tapping if that feels good, or you can relax your arm, either way, okay? So here's the what if questions. What if I really believed in my dreams? What if stepping into the unknown and moving toward my fear is a sure sign I'm stepping into my courage and believing in myself? What if every time I stepped into the unknown, I reaffirm my faith in divine source energy? What if I realized I don't have to do this all by myself? What if I let go of the fight to be myself and just let myself be myself? So those are some examples of what a what if question can be like. It's a really simple, straightforward question. And what it does, when you ask that what if question, your brain becomes curious. It doesn't automatically rule it out. It becomes curious, and there's a gentle persuasion that really opens up. And the power of these what if questions are when they're used often. So you could choose one what if question for yourself. And if you need any help, I can help you figure out a what if question. But you could choose one what if question for yourself, and you could use it 30 times a day. Every time that fear, every time that small self starts raising its head, every time any of those self-doubts come back in, just revert to that what if question. And by practicing it regularly, you're going to see your whole energy system recalibrated and really open up to the infinite possibilities that is truly your birthright. Good. Any questions on the what if question, or how did that work for you? I'd love to hear from you. Good. All right. Good. All right. So the other thing, another tool that I wanted to share with you. Good. I'm glad it feels good, Gabrielle. Nice. Good. Big insight. I don't have to do my mission by myself. That is so true. And that is also the power of relaxing back into that vertical alignment, relaxing back into that waterfall of light. That light always has our backs. Oh, Pat, that last one brought you to tears. I think I know that you're saying in a good way. Yeah. So when we do this energy work, it can really open us up to infinite possibilities. and we are always supported. Ah, good. I'm so glad, Deborah, that you feel our interconnection. And yes, again, we are not alone. That's one thing that us humans, we think that we have to do this all on our own. And most of that is our ego that's really like pushing and pushing forward, right? But one of the most beneficial things that we can do is we can relax back into that waterfall of light and really allow the invisible resources that always have our back. It's really just a matter of opening up to it to really support us, right? Nice, beautiful, good. All right, okay, good. I'm excited that you guys are having these insights. Wonderful. So I want to share with you another tool. Okay, one more tool, maybe two more. All right. And so this tool, it's another tool that is so beneficial for visionaries. And one of the things that I am understanding about visionaries is that we have these huge hearts. So energetically, if you looked at the heart chakra, the vortex of energy that creates our heart center, typically that vortex is maybe about 2.5 inches wide. So us visionaries, we typically have these huge empathic hearts, can literally take up our entire chest and our abdomen, and can really even be even bigger than that. And what happens as we are so empathetic is that we can really begin to feel the energy of others. We can absorb that energy. We can even feel sometimes that if we absorb that energy, we can transmute it and help heal others. But that's not the way that it works. As visionaries, as empathic visionaries, we need to keep our hearts really, what's the word for it? Really stable and grounded. Yeah, heart energy grounded. And that doesn't mean that we don't feel. It means that yes, that we feel, but we don't allow our heart energy to leak out as we're absorbing all of this other energy from others. Okay? All right. Vanessa, so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that you're learning a lot here. Yes, Crystal Blue, compassion versus empathy, right? And so one of the tools that I'm going to invite you to discover, to be curious about here today, is a tool called neutral compassion. Neutral compassion. And again, when I first heard that term, neutral compassion, I thought it was an oxymoron. How can I be neutral and be compassionate at the same time? But when we get into this place of neutral compassion, we are in a really sweet spot where we can still feel the compassion. We can still feel compassionate toward others, but we're not absorbing all of that energy. Because when we absorb that energy, we lose our center, we lose our vertical alignment, right? Okay, so the best way for you to experience this neutral compassion is to actually experience it, okay? So again, this is another short mini guided meditation, okay? And before we begin, just a little bit more about this heart center, okay? Because of the incredible research that the HeartMath Institute is doing, and many of you are probably aware of this research, this scientific research, we now know that the heart center is the largest vortex of energy in our body, okay? So compared to the brain, the electric field of the heart is 60 times more powerful than that of the brain. Magnetically, compared to the brain, the heart field, the heart energetic field, is 5,000 times more powerful magnetically than that of the brain. So this is really command central right here. I think of this as command central. And so as empathic visionaries, it's really vital for us to make sure that our hearts are feeling supported and grounded. And again, that we're not leaking that energy. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to guide you on this short mini guided meditation so that you can actually experience this, okay? So again, let's begin with our breath. Just take some nice breaths in and out, breathing in and out. Good. Drop another grounding cord if you need to. Breathe all the way down into your feet. Open up to the support above you. Lean back into that light, okay? Now, as you're doing that, go ahead and imagine that there is a center part right in the very center of your heart center. It's a sacred space. And imagine that you can create a chair right in that space there, right in the very center. Okay? And you can create this chair any way that you would like to. Whatever kind of chair that you want. Go ahead and just imagine it, sense it, feel it, just know it. Imagine it in your consciousness. So make sure that chair feels really good to you, because right in the very center of your heart is your sacred space, okay? And when you're ready, I want you to go ahead and walk toward that chair and step into it. Sit down in it and feel what it feels like to be right there in the very center of your heart, sitting in a chair that feels really comfortable to you. Now, as you're sitting there, notice where your heart energy is. Sometimes it can feel like we said way out there, right? Way out there, like we're giving way too much. We're leaking and we're draining. Or sometimes it can feel like we're way back in the center where we've actually shut down, where we feel numb, right? So just go ahead and feel yourself right in the center of that chair. Breathing in and out. This is the location where we can access that neutral compassion, where we can still feel compassionate, but yet we can drop down into this place where we can actually see the bigger picture, where we can have that 20/20 vision, right? So take a nice breath in and out. Notice what that feels like. And any time that you begin to feel your heart energy beginning to leak, or you feel overwhelmed with what is going on right now as we live in this 21st century world, or if there are family members that you're really concerned about, I'm going to invite you to take a step back and sit down in this chair. Take a nice breath in and move into that neutrality, and trust that in the big picture, that all is well. Okay? Good. All right, so I'm curious, how did that work for all of you? How did that feel? Good. Beautiful. Good. Yeah, as you're posting those comments, important metaphor, the chair. Yes, loving and supported. And we can make that chair any way that we like, any way that we want. Yes, good. Yeah, I'm loving this. So hearing all these comments, beautiful. Felt like the warm ocean coming over me and floating. Yes. So I'm going to share with you a really concrete way that one of my clients used this this chair meditation, this heart chair meditation. So one of my clients is very, very empathic, right? And she has a daughter who is an alcoholic. And she, of course, she loves this daughter so much, right? And one of the things that she finds herself doing is she's really worrying about her daughter. She's really worrying about, this worst case scenario. What can happen to my daughter, if the alcoholism really takes over, right? And so I invited her to move into this meditation. And as she did, she began to see her daughter in all of her strength, in all of her daughter's strength, in all of her courage, rather than worrying about and leaking all that energy out of her heart. She stepped back into her chair, into that sacred space, into that place of neutral compassion, and she envisioned her daughter in all of her strength and all of her courage. And that made a huge difference for my client. She was able to feel stronger about herself and feel stronger and have more encouragement for her daughter. Okay? Good. All right, beautiful. Okay, let's see if there's anything else that I want to share with you. So one more thing I do want to share, okay? So one of the tools in my spiritual toolkit that I have grown to love and deeply rely upon is a tool called Qigong. And many of you, some of you might be familiar with it. And what it is, it's a system of self-care and self-healing that combines slow, gentle movement with breath and with intention. And it's a way for us to really increase our energy and to reduce stress, okay? And I love Qigong, and I like to say that there is no wrong way to practice it. And in every class, no matter what class or course that I offer, I always integrate a little bit of Qigong because it's a way to drop down out of our heads again and to embody some of these concepts that we've been talking about, okay? So what I'd like to do is I'd like to guide you in a little bit of Qigong right now. And if this is your first time doing it, no worries. Again, there is no wrong way to do this. And you can do Qigong either sitting or standing, all right? So what I'm going to do is Kathy, all right, Kathy, yay, Qigong. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back a little bit and I'm just going to guide you. All right, so take some nice breaths in and out. Again, this can be done sitting or standing. And just bring your palms facing each other, okay? So this movement, it's called the lotus. So I want you to imagine that there's a beautiful lotus flower right up here, okay? And the lotus represents many traditions. It represents tolerance and mercy and compassion, right? Okay, so just bring your hands like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to rise up. And I'm actually going to sit because I want you to see my hands, right? So we're going to take a nice inhale. You ready? Take a nice inhale, rise up. And bring your thumbs and your forefingers together right above your head, as if you were tapping into that beautiful golden lotus, all that light, all that compassion and love and mercy, tolerance, especially for yourself. So drop into that, gather that energy, and bring it down. Bring it down into your body, anchor it in. Take a nice inhale, let it rise up to your heart. And as if you were propelling that compassion, love, and mercy, propelling it forward, you're going to circle around and come right back to your heart so that you receive that same energy. Okay? Ready? Let's try it again. So take a nice inhale, rising up. Bring your thumb and your forefinger together, tapping into that light. Bring it down inside of you. Let that lotus flower, let it anchor in. Let it get rooted deep inside of you. Take a nice inhale. Let that lotus rise up into your heart, fortifying your heart. And propel that energy forward, coming forward and around. Beautiful. Let's do that again. A nice inhale, opening up. Good. And bring that diamond right down in front of your chest, as if it was a magnet, as if it was a crystal, just magnifying and propelling that energy forward, sending it out to whomever or wherever you would like. And then just as important, let that energy cycle around, come back around, and let's pause right here. Allowing your heart, your energy to be filled up, to be fortified, so that we don't burn out, so that we don't pour from an empty teacup. All right, we'll do that one more time. A nice inhale, coming down. Inhale, rising up, cycling around and completing the circle. Inhale, coming down, rising up, feeling that energy, that compassion, love, and mercy, especially for yourself. Let it circle around and come back. All right, there you go. Beautiful. I love the lotus flower too. Yes, I agree, Karen. Qigong is a really wonderful way to integrate what I've shared. Yeah, and for me, it's a way to really embody my light, to really take it down out of this intellectual idea and to bring it down into my body. Yeah, beautiful. Good. All right, so the last thing, my last intention for this class, for this course, for this webinar, is to share with you an opportunity for you to dive more deeply with me. I am looking for a core group of people that really want to dive deep, that want to take these concepts, want to take these ideas, want to take what it means to really dial up that light to the full spectrum, dial it up to 100, to really radiate it out, to share your gifts, both to really raise up your own energy, your own vibration, but to really raise up the vibration of the entire planet. Okay? So what I want to share with you is my course that I'm offering. And here it is. I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to scroll up here. So the course is called, It's Time to Boldly Shine Our Lights, How to Courageously Shine Your Light to Co-Create the World You Know is Possible. It begins March 25th, and I want to share with you a little bit about it. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down, and if you want to go to this link right here, just go to www.joan.com and click on the link that says Spiritual Wildfire Academy. joandargo.com, Spiritual Wildfire Academy. And I'm just going to briefly go over these modules, and then I want to hear what you have to say, okay? So this is an 11-module course over the course of 22 weeks. And we're going to meet every other week. And the first module, we're going to talk about the difference between the story of our awakened hearts versus the story of separation, okay? Right now, the way that the world is right now, there's a lot of separation that we're encountering, right? We're separate maybe from each other. We're separate from the light within ourselves. We're separate from nature. but we know that that is a really outdated story, and it's time for it to go, right? And so the story of our awakened hearts is one that we're going to really open up to in this first module. I'm going to share with you 5 ways to jumpstart the awakening process and tools to release limiting beliefs about ourselves, our communities, and the world. And then in module 2, I'm going to dive deeply into what it means to really be a spiritual being of light and to really encourage ourselves to really own it. Again, our spiritual light is like our spiritual superpower, right? And often, sometimes we say as humans, oh, I'm only human, right? But yes, we are human. And by the very nature of being human, we are divine. And so it's time for us to really open up to this realization and to really live it, to really embody it. Great. So in module 3, I'm going to share with you what it means, the importance of having a toolbox, a 21st century spiritual light warriors toolbox. I'm going to share with you what's in mine, and I'm going to share with you a way to create for yourself a toolbox that really works for you, okay? In module 4, we're going to talk about how sometimes when we begin to open up to claim our light, we block it. We actually will block it because of the fear that we have. But I'm going to also talk about how blocking it is really a waste of time, right? And how we are golden by nature, and how claiming our light is the highest expression of who we are and how we can do that. Often when we open up to our light, we also open up to some of our shadow, and that's a good thing, because as we open up to the light, our light shines on the shadow, which means the shadow is actually ready to be released. So we're going to talk about how sometimes in module 5, how personal dark nights of the soul are profound catalysts for transformation. We're going to talk about how ancient prophecies really predicted what was happening right now in this lifetime, and specific action steps that we can take as 21st century spiritual warriors. Module 6, we're going to dive deeper. The spiritual ideal of our era is action. What is sacred activism? You're going to learn tools to how you can speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. You're going to learn about how each one of us can become tipping points that can really have major significance on the changes that we need to see in our world right now. In module 7, we're going to dive deep into how our emotions are like they are our personal navigation system, and how we can use grief, sadness, anxiety, anger, and fear to really crack us open in a good way, in ways that we never believed were possible. In module 8, we're gonna really dive deep into miracles, and how miracles are our birthright, and how right now we are primed for miracles to really guide us. And then in module 9, I'm really excited. We're having a guest teacher. His name is Ken Scott. He's a quantum physicist, but he is the type of quantum physicist that knows how to take these ideas and translate them into language that we can understand. So we're going to really dive deep into how our light right now is preparing us to take a quantum evolutionary leap, right? In module 10, we're going to talk about the power of dreams, the power of really believing in our dreams, and how to dream a new world into being. And then in module 11, we're going to really experience the power of gratitude, and experience why joy, even when things feel like they are shattering all around us, why joy is an act of moral resistance, and how what we appreciate really appreciates. All right, good. So what we're gonna meet over 22 weeks. It's 11 live classes. There's going to be about an hour and a half of teaching, and then there's going to be an hour, half an hour for live question and answers. We're going to come in the spiritual wildfire community every 2 weeks. If you're unable to make the class, we are going to record it. There's going to be a new tool featured in every class, and Qigong is going to be definitely a part of every class. So I just want to share with you this class. It typically goes for $4.99, but there's a special limited time price for $3.79, and the course registration opens today. And you have your option of paying fully, or there's an easy payment plan for 3 months at $139. You can email me. If that link doesn't work right here, you can email me. And you get 3 amazing bonuses with this. You get the complete set of interviews from the Spiritual Wildfire Summit that I hosted, a 60-minute Qigong class, and a 45-minute video. So the entire value of this program is $968, and you can enroll now for $379. So good. I'm going to come back. And okay, so the URL, yes, the URL is, let me just plug that in for you right now. Good. Here we go. There you go. There's the URL. Thanks. Thanks, Vanessa. Good. So I'm wondering if anybody has any questions, and you're actually welcome to use the Q&A. You can raise your hand by pressing that Q&A. I can actually maybe even hear your voice and get you on to the video too, if you're interested. Any questions at all? You can't see the URL? Let me plug it in there again. Good. Okay, does anybody have any questions or any final comments on any of the tools that I shared with you here today? Oh, good. Somebody has a question. Excellent. All right, wonderful. So Lisa is asking, do I integrate any evolutionary ideas, evolutionary spirituality? Yes, this course, one of the foundations of this course is evolutionary spirituality. And evolutionary spirituality means that as human beings, we can actually co-create the world that we envision, that we know is possible, right? And so many of those ideas are going to be actually integrated into the course. So we are in a tremendous place right now where there is incredible potential for us to really break out of any limitations that we have been conditioned with. We are poised to take an evolutionary leap. And one of those ways that we can do it is by co-creating with the evolutionary impulse itself. Thanks, Lisa. Thank you for those questions. Yeah. Good. Any other questions that anybody else has to ask? The last day of the course is going to be in August. And again, which starts March 25th. And the registration is open for the next week. So if you have any questions at all about the course, please email me, and I would be glad to answer any questions that you have. Good, let's see. You're welcome, Lisa. Oh, good point, Kathy. We're going to be meeting on Wednesdays, every other Wednesday at 1 p.m. New York time. So, and all of the information is on the page, on the link. Good, wonderful. Any other questions at all? And again, please feel free to email me with any questions that you might have, okay? All right, so as we begin to bring this to a close, I want to close with a prayer, okay? And I'm just going to read this prayer to you, okay? And it goes like this, it begins like this. Dear God, and I know that God is a loaded term, right? So substitute any word that you would like, okay? Can be love, divine source energy, great spirit, whatever you want to substitute for this word, okay? It goes like this. Dear God, help us to take a risk and jump into the unknown with faith and courage, trusting in our ability and the ability of the universe to provide for our needs as well as the needs of all beings. May we trust that as the worldwide awakening unfolds, we can together boldly envision and co-create a new world based in compassion, wisdom, justice, and joy. May we courageously embody the faith needed to lovingly birth this new world into being. So be it, and so it is. Jasper, thank you. Yes, Gabriel, there will definitely be handouts for the course. Yes. And I'm glad you like the nice prayer. Good. Good. Amen, Pat. Together we rise. Yes, good. So if you are in any way interested in this course, please check out the URL, and I would love to have you join me in this course. I'm looking for a core group that wants to dive deep with me. Beautiful. I'm going to see if there's any other questions. Good. All right. Many, many thanks to all of you for being here, for participating in this webinar. And I send so much love and light to you. Thank you, Vanessa. All love to you too. Again, just email me with any questions. All love and light. Bye-bye.